So I'd like to show you some things about this wild red raspberry bush here that I am holding. And the first thing I'd like to do is I often will give a giveaway to plants when I'm going to be working with them, especially if I'm going to be harvesting them for medicine. So I'm going to put down a little combination of sage and roses and lavender here. And we can talk a little bit more about that later. So the raspberry is a common wild plant in our area, even though it's not native to North America. And here's a few of the ways we can identify this plant. One is obviously it's got thorns, it's a raspberry, but it also has, this particular species has this powdery white coating on it. The botanical word for that is a glaucous coating, but it's a chalky, powdery, it's minerals actually is what it is. And it's one of the reasons why when I use raspberry for medicine, I will include the stalks in what I gather, not just the leaves. And you can see that the leaves come in this configuration where there's two opposites and one at the tip. And this is one of the ways we can tell raspberry from her cousin, who's right next door here. If you can come over here, see this one that's 5 leaves and also prickly and thorny. This one is blackberry. And another great way to tell raspberry from blackberry is if you look at the back of a blackberry leaf, it's a light green color. If you come now and look at the back of our raspberry leaves, they are gray. So gray or green. One thing I always think of plants in metaphorical terms. Some people call it the doctrine of signatures. I think of it as poetry. Looking at the plant symbolically, what it always says to me is that these two opposite leaves with the single leaf on the end always remind me personally of the ovaries and then the womb. And also for men, because the same plants that are helpful reproductively for women are usually helpful for men's reproductive system as well. And so here we can see it as the testes and the prostate, or the testes and the penis. Well, maybe you want me to turn it that way, I don't know. But anyhow, there you go. So sexual reproductive tonic. And the other thing for women is I often think of, when I see plants with silver backs, I always think of a connection to the moon. And what I like to use raspberry for, it's most famous as an herb for pregnant women to use. And depending upon the tradition or the culture, some people use it all through pregnancy and some use it just in the last month or 2 months. But for everybody, it's a fantastic mineral and vitamin supplement herb. So you can make a tea from the leaves and stalks of the raspberry. And here's how I would take it. You could use a clipper for sure, but what I do is I've asked the plant if I may have some for medicine, and then I'm going to break it above a joint. I find if I use a little circular motion, it comes easily, and then I close it like that. It's an energetic seal where I've broken the plant. Here's now the part that I can dry for medicine, and maybe later we can go inside and you can film where these are all hanging inside the house. But raspberry, it's wonderful for sore throats, it's helpful for diarrhea, it helps both those things because it's highly astringent, it tones tissue. And these, by the way, had beautiful, delicious berries this year, and we want to pick the leaves and stalks before berries or after berries, when the energy is back in this part of the plant. Again, it makes a delightful tea. Many people think it tastes a lot like black tea because it's so tannin rich. And it's a wonderful medicine as well for the womb, for sore throats, and for everybody as a vitamin and mineral supplement. It makes a great tea. And one other great thing to do with raspberry is to cut up the stalks and leaves, cover them with apple cider vinegar, and make a nice raspberry leaf and cane vinegar from it. And that way you're really getting the minerals particularly from the raspberry.